Let me start the VOD recording, and then we should be good to go. So, ladies and gentlemen, mesdames et messieurs, meine Damen und Herren, señores y señoras, I am Special Andrew, and I'm going to basically tell you what's going on in the patch 1.4. The recent changes compared to the old patch, it hit the live service in Europe 1 day ago and US 2 days ago, and basically today on the Korean service. So basically that's me behind in front of the Brandenburger Tor in Berlin, best city in the world. Just saying. So, change number one. Important for Protoss versus Protoss and other matchups as well. The change on the ramps. Now, here, what can we see? You cannot warp in anything on the high ground or on the ramp in general if you do not have a unit directly standing on the ramp. You can only warp in units directly on the ramp when you have a unit standing on the ramp. So that's why all warping in stuff there directly and forgetting in general might not be that successful anymore. It still will be used, especially in Korea, don't get me wrong, but it will not be easy to pull this off anymore. You cannot basically have two pylons or one pylon directly at the ramp and then suddenly say, okay, I'm just walking on your ramp to provide enough vision on the high ground to warp in your main base right away. This will not be possible. Once this ramp is sealed with some force fields, nobody can get in or out. There's no escape possible. Now, next change, Immortals. Immortal range is increased from range 5 to range 6, which of course makes a lot of Immortal and Protoss players happy because a 20% range increase on those Immortals will be quite useful. Taking out siege tanks will be a little bit better. In Protoss vs Protoss, this roboplay comes more into use just because of the fact that you are able to deal with Blink Stalkers a little bit more easy. And of course, going for the starting build in Protoss vs Protoss, since 4 gates are not that common, or most likely will not be that common anymore, might be also of more use. And of course also against roaches. If a Zerg player in Zerg vs Protoss goes mass roaches, this 20% range increase comes into effect. I'm actually not sure if the Immortals will actually be happy, because Immortals, oh no, never mind. Stalkers are dead Dark Templars, but Immortals is something creepy as well. So we have to see about this. Now, another change for the Protoss race are actually Mothership. The old Mothership was just the Mothership. The new Mothership is basically the Roadrunner and the Mothership in the same thing, but only in terms of acceleration. Now the Mothership takes less time to get full speed because it was taking quite a while until the Mothership was in full speed. Now it's a little bit more mobile, a little bit more agile. Still, the main speed did not change, but it helps out a little bit. Maybe we can see some more Mothership action coming up. And I was talking about Dark Templars before. Here we go, Dark Templars it is. Stalkers. So let's make it a little bit bigger. There we go. Now, the blink research time has changed from 100 seconds and 10 to 140. What does this mean in terms of most likely in terms of Protoss versus Protoss, because Blinkstalkers are, of course, quite a common unit to use. Blinkstalkers or Blinkstalkers in addition with an observer. And those Blinkstalker rushes will not be too successful anymore, because with a 30-second more, of course, you have to subtract a little bit of chrono boost. Maybe there, but still it will get delayed a little bit, allows the opponent, the guy who's going to defend this possible Blinkstalker rush or Blinkstalker play in general. Also, it's common to use Blinkstalkers, of course, and Protoss vs Zerg changes a little bit, but in terms of late game, of course, stays the same. Now, the possible rush with Blinkstalkers gets delayed a little bit. More Protoss units being changed. Oh yeah, 42% more total HP, 40 shields was it was before. Now it's 100 shields. So Warp Prism a little bit more durable. If you get the Warp Prism speed, those things can be pretty nasty. I mean, Wytra is very famous for his usage of Warp Prisms, but nowadays, oh yeah, I hope they will get and become a little bit more mainstream. I think the Warp Prism is the most underused unit in the Protoss arsenal, so we have to see if the Warp Prism becomes more of a usable unit and not dies like to 3 Marines in just 2 seconds anymore. Now, enough with the Protoss units for the moment. Let's focus on another Terran unit, which is the Hellion. Of course, one of the biggest changes in the patch is the Blue Flame Hellion. As you can see in the top, there are the old amounts of damage a Hellion deals, and now the new one. The patch notes say, okay, the Blue Flame Hellion upgrade bonus damage for the Blue Flame is changed from 10 to 5. So the old damage versus light was 24, now it is 19, and in addition to this, the +2, +1, +3 upgrade also deal 5 damage less. This means the following. Of course, maybe you cannot harass with Zerglings too much. I have no idea why I have this build, this picture here in my presentation for the patch. I have no idea. I was thinking about a very good joke, but I forgot it. But look at this awesome Zerg rush anyway. Now, but let's get back to the topic. Workers and Blue Flames. We can see SCV 45 HP, a drone 40 HP, and a total 40 HP for the probe as well. Now, with the old patch, you just needed 2 Hellions to kill all of those workers. But now, things have changed. The red numbers indicate what upgrades there is on 2 Hellions. Now, and the white numbers are saying how much damage can do 2 Hellions with the Blue Flame upgrade with the new patch notes. Now 38 it is with the +1 attack upgrade, 42 without any attack upgrades, 42 with the +1, 46 with the +2, and 50 damage with the +3. Now you can see you actually need the +2 attack to kill SCVs in 2 shots, but you only need the +1 attack upgrade to kill drones and probes. So this means in terms of Terran versus Terran, this Blue Flame harassment only becomes super effective once again as soon as you have the +2 upgrade. If your opponent is actually having the +3 armor upgrade, you need the +3 attack upgrade with your mech units in order to 2-hit those. And this, of course, it changes the amount of damage you do to Marines. Marines without the combat shield do have a 45 HP. With the combat shield, they have 55 HP, though this comes into effect as well. Now, continuing with the Blue Flame, there's one thing which doesn't change. Blue Flame still just eat alive those Zerglings, because it doesn't matter, 2 Blue Flamers still will toast and roast and grill and barbecue all those remaining Zerglings anyway. Now let's focus a little bit on the barracks. Barracks production timing has changed. It was 60 before, it is 65 right now. What does this mean? For example, this famous 1111 Rex might not be that suitable anymore, just a 2 Rex opening in general. So having those 6 more seconds comes greatly into effect in early game Terran versus Zerg. It also helps out maybe some Protoss players who are going for a fast expand against the Terran, and the Terran decides to go for 2x pressure opening. So having those 5 additional seconds for each barracks might might decide who is this first attack of the Terran going to be too successful or not. We have to see how this is going to turn out in the days and weeks to come. Now, what else do we have? Overseers getting changed. Boom! Old Overseer was costing a 50 minerals and 100 gas. The new one, 50 minerals, 50 gas. So suddenly you can get 50% off of the gas cost. But on the other hand, Not that we like see, oh, I'm just going to build 10 overseers and you cannot produce any units anymore. The contaminate cost has been increased by 50 energy. So once an overseer pops, you still need to wait quite a long time until you can go for the first contaminate. I think this is good to help out against cloaked units, to get an overseer out a little bit faster, and maybe have more overseers spread around your bases to deal with cloaked units in general. This is a very, very interesting change. We will have to see how this affects the gameplay in general. Now, a very, very other important upgrade is actually, oh yeah, Infestor. The Infestor now, I just calculated some numbers here. The old Infestor, the fungal growth, was doing 36 damage plus 30% versus armored. Means versus non-armored units 36, versus armored 46.8. And now it is changed to 30 versus non-armored and 40 damage versus armored units, which basically means it is less damage overall, helps out against Marines, helps out not so much against Marines anymore, and not so much against Protoss units anymore. So this is a good change, I think, in my opinion, because sometimes Fungal was a little bit all over the place. It got nerfed, but not too much, only a little bit. But like all those other changes, we have to see how this is going to turn out. Now let's go to the next change. Ultralisk. Oh, Ultralisk build time has been decreased from 70 seconds to 55 seconds, which is of course quite a bit. 50 seconds, Ultralisk out sooner, because the Zerg race is the only race where you can build like trillion, bazillion, gazillion, million, just saying, many units at all at the same time. It doesn't matter if it's drones, Zerglings, or Ultralisks or Corruptors. You can build all those units at the same time. Most of the people, when they're just losing a lot of units, they hold down the R button to build like 50,000 roaches. And some people, when they're on 5 bases, they hold down the U button for the Ultralisk. And then, oh yeah, it's time to wait, and wait, and wait, and wait, and wait. And this actually makes Ultralisk a much more viable unit, because you can get out those very important units so much faster. Sometimes you just were not able to go for the Ultralisk because you knew, okay, I'm starting to build Ultralisk right now, and I have to just basically kill 70 seconds without dying. And that's why some people say, okay, I'm just going for Infestors, Roaches, Zerglings, Mutas, something which is not an Ultralisk, because they simply were not able to wait that long. So this is a very interesting thing to make an Ultralisk a more viable unit in the late game Zerg versus Terran, Zerg, Protoss. Now, another change is for the UI, when you salvage buildings, or when you cancel upgrades or tech labs or something like this, or cancel a warp in, boom, you suddenly see the amount of minerals and gas you get back, like when you play the single player campaign, or where you have to get those 8,000 minerals for Mira to make her able to just get you your forces, and then you get some data curse artifacts or something like whatever. But this is the important thing, you actually know how many minerals you will get. So, good thing to go for. Now here's still some random stuff. You can set on auto busy when joining a game, so you're available when you're not in game, but as soon as you join the game, you will automatically set on busy. This of course helps out those casters who get spammed on big tournaments, like yeah, fuck MLG or something like this. All those stupid trolls. And that's a very good thing. Of course, only to allow friends to send me invites is good for a lot of pro players who get harassed, for example, or only allow friends to send me chat messages. This is also good if you don't want to get spammed. And one more thing I was not talking about early on. Let's go back to the Infestor, which of course is the neural parasite change. There was a first change that the neural parasite was not able to target massive units anymore, so no neural parasiting Thoros, Colossi or Archons. Then Blizzard decided to reverse the change, but changed Neural Parasite the other way around. They reduced the range from range 9 to range 7. So you still can Neural Parasite all those super important, heavy damage dealing massive units. On the other hand, your infestors become a little bit more vulnerable because they don't have this range 9 anymore to go for it, but they need to be in range 7. So it's still possible, but it's a little bit harder to pull off. That being said, that was it about me talking about patch 1.4. Hope you learned a little bit. That's me, Special Andre, the one and only. That being said, have a good one, everybody, and